So the interesting thing about the idea of crowdfunding Godspell is that I had the idea for crowdfunding a Broadway musical years before we did it for Godspell. Whenever I come up with an idea that I think is like, ooh, that might be interesting, I file it away, sort of in the back of my head, but also literally on a piece of paper where I can then look at and say, when I find the right show, like I need the right show, because I'm a big believer that the marketing message has to match the artistic message. So I was talking to Stephen Schwartz, the composer of Godspell, and I asked him point blank, tell me in your words, what is Godspell about? And he said, Godspell is about a community of people coming together. And I was like, well, if there isn't a better way to describe crowdfunding, I don't know what there is. So instantly I knew that we had a marketing message that matched the artistic message. I went about trying to crowdfund Godspell. I asked my lawyer, like literally was told 7 times, like this can't be done. And then I thought to myself one night, there are these things called penny stocks, like with small market, like that. There's got to be some crazy way to do this. So Googling one night, I found the regulation. I called my lawyer the next day and I said, what about this regulation, Regulation A? And there was like silence on the phone. And he said, you know what? That actually might work. And it was probably the hardest thing I've ever done. It was extremely expensive. It was the most stressful experience of my life. You know, you had to file this with the SEC and it got more attention than they thought it was going to get. So like after we did it, they called and were like, we need to look at this a little closer. And we were like, gulp. Look, when any governmental organization calls you, it makes you sweat. One of my mentors called me during that 4-week awkward phase, called me and said, Ken, it's okay to stop doing it this way. Maybe this, Broadway wasn't meant to be crowdfunded. Maybe just stop. You'll go the traditional route of raising money. This is your first lead producing show. Let's make it easier for you. And I said, yeah, I could do that. But that's not going to make the show stand out. So I actually put my nose down and we went at it even harder. And I'm so thankful for that. And I had such support from, once everyone got on board, the lawyer, the general manager, people were like, let's do this thing. And I'll never forget it. We raised that $5 million from over 700 people for as little as $1,000 in investment. And what I love about that is that I'm still in contact with those people today. We called them something, the people of Godspell, a community of people coming together. Like Stephen described, those people are still together. Some of them still invest with me. Some of them just let me know what they're doing. Their pin that they have, like I'm a person of Godspell, they still have that stuff. That's frankly why I got into the theater, to again, be around passionate theater people. And so that's what made Godspell and crowdfunding Godspell very special.